For most of human history, we have looked at the ocean as a boundary, a natural edge, a barrier separating land from the unknown. But what if the ocean is not a boundary at all? What if it is a vault? Because beneath its surface lie structures that should not exist. Streets, walls, entire cities. Cities that were not meant to disappear. Cities that history never prepared us for. Tonight we are uncovering the story of the city buried under the ocean. Not a legend, not a myth, a real place, hidden in plain sight. Long before modern coastlines were drawn, the world looked very different. During the last ice age, sea levels were more than 100 meters lower than they are today. What is now ocean was once dry land. Vast coastlines stretched far beyond today's shores. People lived there, they built homes, they formed communities, and some of those communities became cities. For thousands of years, those lands remained stable. Then the ice began to melt. As glaciers collapsed, the oceans rose, slowly at first, then faster. Entire regions vanished beneath the water. But here's the part that unsettles researchers. Many underwater cities don't look like they were abandoned slowly. They look like life stopped, suddenly. One of the most famous underwater cities was discovered by accident. Local fishermen kept losing their nets in the same spot. They blamed rocks. But when divers were sent down to investigate, they found something else. Stone walls, perfectly shaped, stacked deliberately, not natural. As they descended further, they saw staircases carved into solid stone, doorways aligned in rows, platforms arranged with precision. This wasn't debris. This was planning. This was architecture. This was a city. When archaeologists examined the site, the shock only deepened. Some of the structures were dated to more than 9,000 years old. That date created a problem. Because according to mainstream history, civilization wasn't supposed to be that advanced at that time. Agriculture was still developing. Urban planning supposedly didn't exist. Yet here it was, underwater, older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge, older than everything we were taught. And this wasn't an isolated case. Similar discoveries began to appear across the globe. Off the coast of India, massive submerged structures were found stretching for kilometers. In Japan, the Yonaguni Monument revealed enormous stone terraces beneath the sea. In the Mediterranean, sunken ports and cities lay untouched. Different oceans, different cultures, same mystery. The Yonaguni structure is one of the most debated sites in underwater archaeology. At first glance, it looks impossible. Sharp angles, flat surfaces, stair-like formations. Some scientists insist it's natural. Others argue erosion cannot create such symmetry. What unsettles observers most is how intentional it appears. As if someone carved it. As if someone meant it to be seen. Once. But perhaps the most disturbing detail lies not in how these cities were built, but in how they were abandoned. In many underwater settlements, archaeologists found personal objects still in place. Tools left behind, pottery resting where it was last used, homes frozen in time, no signs of war, no evidence of fire, no skeletons, just absence. People don't leave their lives behind like this unless something forces them to. So what happened? The most accepted explanation is rising sea levels after the Ice Age. As ice melted rapidly, coastlines flooded. But this theory doesn't explain everything, because some cities appear to have sunk quickly. In certain areas, geological evidence points to sudden tectonic collapse. Earthquakes powerful enough to drop entire landmasses into the ocean. In moments. Imagine the horror. The ground shaking, the sea rushing inland, buildings collapsing, people fleeing with no time to prepare. In such an event, survival would be chaos. History wouldn't record it, because there would be no one left to write it down. This brings us to the oldest stories humanity has ever told. Flood myths. Nearly every ancient culture has one, from Mesopotamia to India, from the Americas to the Pacific Islands. Stories of great floods sent to erase civilizations. For centuries, historians dismissed them as symbolic. But now, with evidence of submerged cities across the world, those stories feel less like fiction and more like memory. Plato wrote about Atlantis as a powerful civilization, swallowed by the sea in a single night. He said it was advanced, organized, prosperous, and then gone. For a long time, Atlantis was treated as a metaphor. But as underwater cities continue to surface, the question becomes uncomfortable. What if Atlantis wasn't a place? What if it was a warning? What truly unsettles researchers is the pattern. These cities were often coastal, built near water, connected by trade routes, which means they weren't isolated. They were part of something larger, a network, a civilization spanning regions now underwater. So why don't we hear more about this? Because underwater archaeology is expensive, slow, difficult, and sometimes inconvenient. Funding is limited, exploration is restricted. Some discoveries are quietly reclassified as natural formations. Others are simply ignored. Not because they aren't important, but because they don't fit. If advanced civilizations existed thousands of years earlier than we thought, it changes everything. It challenges linear progress. It suggests civilization is fragile, that it can rise, collapse, and be forgotten. More than once. Modern society likes to believe it is unique, technologically superior, unprecedented. But beneath the ocean are cities that once believed the same thing. Cities that thought they were permanent. They weren't. What makes the ocean different from land is preservation. On land, ruins erode. They are looted, destroyed. Underwater, time slows. Structures remain intact, protected by darkness. The ocean doesn't erase history, it hides it. As technology improves, more cities will be found. Sonar mapping, underwater drones, deep-sea exploration. Each discovery will raise the same question. How much of our past is missing, and how much of it mirrors our present? Because the cities beneath the ocean are not just archaeological curiosities. They are warnings. They tell us that climate can change suddenly, that nature doesn't negotiate, that progress can disappear overnight. Somewhere beneath the waves are streets no one walks anymore, homes no one lives in, cities frozen at the moment everything went wrong, buried, not by choice, but by force, and perhaps the most unsettling thought of all is that one day future explorers might look down at our cities the same way, as ruins beneath the sea, silent, forgotten, waiting to be rediscovered. History is not just written on land, it's written underwater, and the ocean remembers everything.